Hey guys, and welcome back to Golf News Now. I am your host Michael, and thanks for joining us for this video. We've got another really important video for you guys, something you're not going to find in mainstream golf anywhere. They don't have the balls to do this reporting, and we're going to kind of sift through and try to read between the lines of these mainstream golf stories to try to get to the bottom of what's actually going on and what the PGA Tour is really up to. Now, Davis Love III was at the Rocket Mortgage Classic over the weekend and made some pretty controversial comments to a Sports Illustrated reporter, Michael Rosenberg. Now, these kind of got brushed under the rug. Once they're on paper, they do seem pretty controversial, and it appears to me mainstream golf is kind of going, oh shit, we shouldn't have put this out there, and are trying to brush it under the rug here. So I'm going to do some reporting on it, but before we get to it, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Golf news you're only going to find here because we have no allegiance to the PGA Tour. We have no allegiance to anybody. The only allegiance we have is to truthful, fact-based reporting, and that's what we're going to give back to you guys. If that means something to you, hit that subscribe button. You're going to get a lot more stories just like this. Now, let's get back to Davis Love's comments and get into this story. So before we get into the main meat of this story, let's establish the main character in the story I'll be telling. Now, Davis Love III is the epitome of a company man for the PGA Tour. He had a storied playing career and has been working behind the scenes of the PGA Tour forever. He's served 5 tours of duty on the PGA Tour Policy Board, which makes these hugely influential decisions for the players that affect them every single day. Not to mention, he created the RSM Classic in his home state of Georgia and runs it to this day. And he has the honor of being the President's Cup captain at the end of this year. Now, he's had a storied career and is intertwined in the PGA Tour like almost nobody else. Now, it's important that the PGA Tour uses mouthpieces like Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Davis Love III, established and respected golf figureheads around the world. And maybe to a casual golfer, hearing Davis Love make these statements, they would just automatically agree, not really put much into it, because a respected and established golf figure is saying, hey, this is the truth and this is the way it's going to go. And, these are the facts. Now, it wouldn't necessarily have the same effect if they were using, some exec or a player nobody had ever heard of or wasn't respected around the golf world. So, over the weekend at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Michael Rosenberg of Sports Illustrated was interviewing Davis Love III when LIV got brought up and, all the controversy with the competition between the two tours. And, Davis Love went on a tirade about how Augusta, the USGA, and, the other governing bodies need to make it basically impossible for these LIV players to fulfill the requirements to participate in major championships or the FedEx Cup or whatever major tournaments going on. Now, he said if they didn't do that, they would take matters into their own hands and just boycott any major event. And he said even if the courts were against them and they lost to LIV in a lawsuit in the United States court system, they would just still take matters into their own hands and boycott these events so they couldn't take place. There's about 9 different ways these events are going to get boycotted, and only one way that they go forward. The only one way they go forward is if no LIV player is able to participate. And that's no matter what the court system of the United States says. Now, I do find that pretty funny coming from a tax-exempt, nonprofit corporation that's going to turn about $1.5 billion in revenue in 2022. Now they know better than the court system of the United States, and they just don't have to follow legal decisions from the United States court system any longer. You just have to ask yourself, where is the PGA Tour going to draw the line? When are they going to act like a corporation and stop acting like they're God? So I'm including this for you guys so you can have it from the horse's mouth. Davis Love III. Here he's talking about the requirements for the golf clubs, and then he talks about this biggest lever. It's not a nice lever, but if a group of veterans, a group of top current players align with 150 guys on tour. Guess what? We're not playing. That solves it, right? If the LIV guys play in the U.S. Open, we're not playing. If they sue in court and they win, well, we're not playing, you know? There won't be a U.S. Open. It's just like a baseball strike. Don't you think for a second that this was Davis Love III just going rogue and, you know, having all these controversial comments out of the blue? This was a calculated, coordinated, and orchestrated by the PGA Tour. Now, how, you know, he is so entrenched with the PGA Tour, there is no way he's going to be making comments like this without the PGA Tour's preemptive knowledge of this and green lighting of what he's going to say. Now, in hindsight, it probably is not a great idea to put in writing a conspiracy to circumvent a legal court decision in the United States, and I'm sure the LIV lawyers are just salivating at the mouth with this exhibit now that they can use in a lawsuit against the PGA Tour and their conspiracy to keep LIV Golf from playing in major championships and on the PGA Tour. It's also clear this message was a lot more than just for golf fans and a fun article to write. There were 3 targeted groups that I can identify, and I'm going to go over each of them. Now, I believe the main target of this, because they hold such a vendetta against players that have defected, the main target of this is players that defected from the PGA Tour and are now currently playing on LIV Golf. Now, the message to them is clear, and that is, boys, it doesn't even matter if you win a court decision against us. You will never play in a major championship again. And that's pretty damn scary. Now, the second targeted group of this message is anybody still playing on the PGA Tour that's kind of waffling with the idea of making the defection over to LIV Golf. And the message is clear to them as well, and it's very similar as to the first group. If you ever want to play in a major championship again, don't think you can go switch over to LIV and have that happen. That's pretty damn scary too, and it just is a manipulation. Now, the third targeted group with this is the hosts of major championships like Augusta National, the USGA, the RA. It was a shot across their bow and telling them, if major championships are important to you, don't make us play dirty. Make the eligibility requirements so tough that these guys just can't get in, and that will solve this problem. And I've got a big problem with that. The PGA Tour has been a monopoly too long and is horrible in competition. If the PGA Tour is so confident with its product, it should play it out on the field and let the best man win. In conclusion here, guys, it seems every day I do research, it just exposes a little bit more about the PGA Tour. I have no bone to pick with the PGA Tour. I was a huge fan of the PGA Tour growing up, and, you know, it was very inspiring. I always wanted to be a PGA Tour pro and, you know, aspired to be on the tour one day. Now, the more and more I learn about the PGA Tour and the lengths that they go to protect profit, it's crazy, and something has to change. I have no problem with competition. I have no problem with the players. My issue is with executives and the leadership of the PGA Tour. It is striking how similar the PGA Tour is operating similarly to like a country like China. The media blackouts, only selected stories are okay. Like I told you today, they're going to circumvent a legal decision if it doesn't come down in their favor. Man, I don't know what else to say. Davis Love III tried to compare this to a Major League Baseball strike. So the players' union and the owners of baseball teams aren't getting along, and for the most part, you have probably 90% of the players are in agreement that, hey, we're going to strike and we're not going to play until we can come to an agreement with owners over contracts and all of that. What in the hell does that have anything to do with a competitor golf league started up. You don't want to compete. Players left you. Now you have a vendetta against them. Now you're trying to circumvent legal court decisions if they don't come down in your favor. And you're going to try to compare that to a Major League Baseball strike? Man, you got to wonder what Davis Love is smoking over there and what the PGA Tour is smoking over there. Did they get something out of China? Man, I would love to try a little bit of whatever these guys are on. Not to mention, can you imagine if LIV Golf executives or players or anybody associated with LIV was going, hey, we're just going to circumvent legal decisions of the United States. We're just going to do whatever we want. Can you imagine the uproar? Can you imagine what would happen to LIV Golf if they were just like, yep, it doesn't matter. We're going to do whatever we want, and we're just going to circumvent legal court decisions or whatever. We'll do whatever we need to do to advance our cause. Can you imagine the uproar? The hypocrisy in this world. But that's 2022, guys. That's what I'm telling you. You got to come to this channel. You'd see this innocuous story with Davis Love III throwing around some crazy shit, but it means something. And when an unchecked monopoly like the PGA Tour is just allowed to run around, do whatever the hell it wants, yeah, it gets an ego, and it starts to think that not even a court can hold it back. That's scary, you guys, and we need to get our arms around the PGA Tour before it's too late. And it may already be too late. But I'm glad at least LIV has exposed this a little bit, and all of this ugly truth about the PGA Tour is coming to the surface.